Welcome, everyone. This is Industry Insights, and we are hosting a demo for our product service members on how to navigate our new AI model, Mira. We're really excited about launching this and hoping that our product service members will be able to use it to their advantage to understand what's happening in the industry, how they can get involved and engaged in MHA, etc. I'm Aubrey Albrecht. I'm the Vice President of Education, Chief Innovation Officer at MHA. Mira has been my pet project ever since the beginning of the year. The board of directors gave us direction to set up our own large language model, or LLM. And we've been loading information, testing, and iterating for the past 6 months. Mira launched early June. Prior to that, we had, probably 40 plus people who were testing Mira with complicated questions. And then we were training and retraining and providing more resources so that she was answering questions accurately and in the way that we wanted her to answer them. So the future of Mira, we're hoping that Mira becomes a part of your tech stack that you use on a daily basis. We know a lot of people are using ChatGPT, Gemini, Grok, all of those platforms, and there's a lot of opportunity there to use Mira in conjunction with ChatGPT. Mira comes with your membership, so anyone who is a member of MHA has access to Mira, but also Mira is specifically trained on this industry and landlord-tenant law for any city that has more than 10,000 people in population, and state law, federal law around fair housing. It ends up being a very accurate resource, whereas we tested some questions with Mira versus ChatGPT, and ChatGPT didn't quite get the answer or entirely got the answer wrong. We've done a lot of internal training to make sure that this is a useful resource for the industry and an accurate resource for the industry. We're hoping to have more folks interested in specifically in Mira because we do have a level of guardrail that exists for Mira that may not exactly exist for ChatGPT. The purpose of this session is to really give you some familiarity with Mira and find ways that the tool works for you. So, all right, let's get started. We'll start with the MHA website, which is where you'll find Mira. And fortunately, our staff has done a lot of the creative thinking around Mira and has created this handy button, bright yellow at the top of the page. So this is where you'll find Mira. The address is just mmha.com Mira. So fairly easy to get in. I will note that obviously you have to have a login to sign in, which as a member, you will have a login. So you will sign in, and I'm just going to give you a little bit of tour of the page so you know what's here and you can come back to this page if you have any questions. So obviously why we created Mira, we wanted to be able to provide a resource to our members that was available 24/7. A few things to note. I do put on here that Mira is still learning and might make some mistakes. Now, if you believe that she misses the mark on a response, there is an opportunity to do a thumbs down. If you believe the answer is wrong, thumbs down. And then there's an opportunity, and I'll show you in a little bit, to type in some feedback. I can add some resources, whatever we need to do so that she is giving the right information. Remember to always follow your company's policies, procedures, and lease provisions. And then we have the link to our terms of use and our privacy policy. Everything is housed here. So if you're looking for anything regarding Mira, she's all on one page. So when you scroll down, you can see that we have some of these prompt questions. Click on one of these prompt questions. For example, how do I best utilize my membership? And she will answer it. My biggest suggestion on how to use a large language model and how to use anything like ChatGPT or Mira is to really have a conversation with her. If you're looking for something specific, type that in. If you feel like she's not quite answering to the fullest, push her on it. I can see how people are asking questions, how they're utilizing the tool, but not necessarily specifically who is utilizing. So a couple things I wanted to go over about the tips for crafting your questions. Identify yourself. We we've done training and training and training on Mihra to help our members in our two different large categories, our product service members and our general members, ask questions so that they will be specific to them, because the answers are different and we know that, right? So make sure you identify who you are. I'm a vendor. I'm a product service member. I work for a flooring company. This is more applicable to general members, but I'll mention it as well. Say your location. So for a general member, I'm a property manager. My property is in Oka. My property is in Burnsville. That will narrow Mihra's focus to that specific city. Being specific, so providing a background or giving her a scenario, type it all out. I've had people put emails in here to say, I'm sending this to a resident. I want to make sure that this is super professional. And then asking one question at a time. If you put in, I want to know about Maddox, I want to know about the laws in Burnsville, and I want to know about laws at the federal level, you might not get the quality of answer that you're looking for. So we recommend asking one question at a time. Our frequently asked questions are pretty basic. The one that I will point out, we've had some questions about proposed law changes. Mihra is not great at understanding time and dates. So if we were to put in proposed legislation and say, this is what's proposed, she gets a little confused about whether it's proposed or it's been adopted. And so what we've decided as an association is to just put in whatever has been passed into law, nothing that is proposed. We do have some articles in the Advocate about what has been passed, and she is trained on any of that. But to make sure that we have accurate and actual information and we're not confused by any pending legislation or proposals, we don't add that in there. Other frequently asked questions, can Mihra provide legal or financial advice? Absolutely not. We have great vendors who do that. She will refer you to vendors. And how does Mihra updated with the latest industry information? Well, that's why you're a part of an association who automatically is doing that. We just update Mihra on a regular basis with any of the latest information. So anything goes in there. The Advocate, we put out their Greater Minnesota newsletters, our Maddox call for entries, our conference brochures, anything like that. They all go in Mihra, and she's trained on them. Terms of use, privacy policy are here. You can read them. The other thing that I wanted to mention is we have a statement at the bottom of the input bar that says this information is provided by Mihra is not legal advice, which I mentioned. Consult legal counsel for specific guidance. And then users must comply with all applicable antitrust laws. And that links directly to MHA's antitrust compliance statement, which is really important to our industry. So we're going to do a live demo. So one is, how do I maximize my visibility and generate more leads? Mihra gives some great examples. So exhibiting at key events, changing the game, working together, attending industry insights, networking broadly, building relationships with other peer organizations, including other product service members, leveraging the buyer's guide, utilizing the membership directory, staying informed, weekly update, the Advocate, sponsorships, obviously, Golf Classic, Maddox Awards, educational opportunities. You can attend any education that you would like to and offer to teach if you have something that you want to share with the industry you think is very timely and helpful. And then just to assign a dedicated representative, someone who is consistently present at events, especially during your first 2 years of membership, build recognition, trust within the community. So these are really great examples, really helpful. For example, what are the best practices for building long-term relationships with property managers and owners of the rental housing industry? Be consistent and fair, prioritize customer service, communicate effectively, follow through and be reliable, maintain professional boundaries, support your client's success, participate in the industry, handle mistakes, stay informed and adapt. So great guidance here. This icon here, so we have the thumbs up, the thumbs down. This icon here is just actually a simple copy. So if you wanted to copy this text and put it somewhere else, all you do is click this button. You're automatically copying it, and you can throw it in a Word doc or throw it wherever you would like to come back to it. Unlike ChatGPT, Mihra is not saving your conversations. That's for your anonymity as well. There's always this option to learn more, and that will give you some links. Sometimes she will link, for example, you'll be asking a question about crime, and she'll link to the Maple Grove something or other. It's because that's where she's getting some level of information. It may not be all of the information, but she is reading that specific document, or she got a piece of information from that she's throwing into her answer for you. Now, I want to show you, this is something that we've done to really protect our product service. Mihra will not recommend specific product service members at all. You have a question about it? This is what Mihra says. We do not directly endorse or recommend specific restoration companies. We encourage you to visit our buyer's guide. The link's directly there, where you can search for restoration companies and other service providers. You can choose the company that best fits your need. We've trained over and over with her on this to make sure that she is not giving any recommendations at any point for any specific companies. She will tell you which category listing to click on to navigate to what they're looking for. She's not going to give any bias about what companies to use or to not use for our general members. Sandy Garber, membership director, is online, and she gets this question a lot. How do I pay invoice online, and how do I renew my membership? So again, I'm going to follow my own guidance. We're going to start with how do I pay an invoice online and see what Mihra has to say about that. So Mihra will give you step-by-step instructions about how to pay your invoice, and then we'll give you some additional resources as well about how to pay your invoice and what that looks like. This goes directly to a handy guide about paying your invoices online and gives you some screenshots about what those actually look like. So that's very helpful. Renew my membership. So I wasn't specific about who I was, so I got two different answers. For property owners and managers, this is how you renew. And for product service and vendors, this is how you renew. The reason why they're different is because our general members have to put in a unit count before their invoice is generated, because they are paying on a per unit basis. And then gives you a good resource on membership management. I honestly don't know how she will answer this, so let's see. What's the best booth to get at the annual trade show? Oh, we don't recommend specific booths. So you can see it directs you to the floor plan to make sure that you're looking in the right place, but you are encouraged to select a location that aligns with your goals and target audiences. I thought maybe you would be interested in seeing some of the general member questions that get asked as well. You're like, I want to be more aware of what's going on in insurance and property management. Say that to Mihra and have her give you the resources and what's going on in insurance, and pull up those advocate articles and see what she has to say about those. I'm going to go, in today's market, is it better to rent or own a home? So this is the most recent, the May-June 2025. On the rental side, it compares your mortgage payment with your rent payment. Increasing costs has made homeownership less affordable for many households, with the first-time home buyers at nearly a 50-year low. And in summary, due to high home, elevated mortgage rates, and increased monthly payments, renting may currently be more accessible and affordable option compared to buying a home in today's market. However, individual circumstances and long-term goals should also be considered. Okay, we have another one. If my loan is maturing, how far in advance should I contact a lender? There you go. You should contact your lender as early as possible before your loan matures, and then your rate resets. More time you have, and then it links to our most recent issue of The Advocate, which was diving into debt. The other things that I've seen that have been super helpful for our property management employees who are nominated for a Maddox Award, they can go in here and have a kind of back and forth conversation with Mihra to help them prepare their interview. And I'm sure product service members, you can also do that. So Mihra will take the call for entries and what the category is being judged on, provide sample questions, and you can provide answers, and then she can provide some feedback. So it can be back and forth, which is really interesting. Another great question: what are the benefits of submitting an entry in the Maddox Awards? There you go. She sees a lot of benefits. Networking and inspiration, staff and team morale, industry visibility, recognition of excellence. I want to do another scenario here so that you can see how to be a little more iterative. The example that I have is, let's say your company is considering sponsoring the Golf Classic and sponsoring Maddox, and you're trying to figure out how to relay the tangible and intangible benefits of the sponsorships to the owners or the leaders of your company, and how you measure potential return on investment. What strategies can we use to engage engage with attendees of the Golf Classic and Maddox before, during, and after the events to maximize our exposure and lead generations. It'll say what you should do for golf and what you should do for Maddox and how it's different, utilizing on-site branding, engaging with material, attendees, following up, posting event photos and stories on your social media and tagging MHA, evaluating and leads, ongoing engagement, etc. How can I relay the tangible and intangible benefits of these sponsorships to the owners and leaders of the company? There you go. It gives you a lot of information right there at your fingertips. And then a follow-up question could be, how do we measure our return on investment? So quantitative measures, qualitative measures, tools and techniques, post-event media coverage, professional photos for evidence of brand exposure. This is super helpful, and it can just be, right there in front of you. Well, we hope that you make this a part of your workflow, and we're hoping that this makes your job easier. You can download a PDF of your conversation. So this will download your full conversation back and forth with links. So you can save that as a PDF, and it'll say when you had the conversation. Great. Well, if you do have any questions about Mihra, feel free to reach out or ask Mihra herself, because she probably can help you navigate. Thanks everyone for being here. Industry Insights is a great format for our product service members and give them an update about what's going on in the industry.